What's up, everybody, and welcome to our first sit down with the founders of Glory Light Tabernacle International Ministry, New York. My parents, my mom, my dad, and this here is really we're gonna be discussing everything ministry, the past, present, and the future.
But I needed $5,000 to close in 1 week time on the deal. So I went to my mom and I'm testifying to her what God has done. She said, "You buying your own house? How is that possible? This is great." I said, "Mom, but I need $5,000. She got quiet. After a long while, he told me I'm coming back. He went to her bedroom. She came out with an envelope. Said, "Boy, this is my tax return check. This is August of the year. So I got it here. I didn't cash it. I didn't need it. Take it and go and buy your house. You're doing a great work." The generational blessing.
Oh, you guys, how much was the check?
The check was
Exactly what we needed
$5,000
for what we needed for closing.
What we needed to close.
$5,000.
My mother was used of God to say, close the deal. $5,000.
Even as you're talking about that whole house situation, remembering the process of getting there and giving trying to get the down payment. When it was time to close it, I remember Delon, you might remember this. You might remember this. But that same year, you started to work at the YMCA as a counselor too. You're the counselor, yes. And you got was YMCA. I was
It's YMCA.
was yeah. And you were getting your first check. You got your first check, and I remember clearly your first check amounted to $800 or something for the whole summer.
I didn't know.
Yes. What did your father say? "Boy, you cannot cash this check. We're about to buy a house."
Yeah.
And all the money you worked for that summer, he didn't get a penny to spend.
Yeah.
Like it went towards buying that house. Yeah. That's our story.
And I remember that. I remember working and not getting paid, but I didn't care because I knew the money was going towards our family, and I was happy to do it. But yeah, now that you remind me, I'm like, wow, I did do that. Forgot about that.
Train up a child in the way he should go. He'll be a blessing to you. My son never quarreled.
Yeah, it's true.
Played his role. Today he's homeowners. He owns houses. The process is characterized by the miraculous. So people can ask, the bank sends to my workplace for them to send the information as to what is the salary I'm being paid. Because the boss can't understand, he's paying me that little money. They're giving me an increased salary from $6 an hour to $6.02 an hour. 602.
What an increase.
God took the 602.
I remember the letter. Congratulations. We should have saved the letter and framed it. I remember the letter. I couldn't believe it. Congratulations. We have increased your salary from 600 to 602 per month. 602.
Overall.
Yeah. To 602. 2 pennies
God is using 602
to buy a house.
to buy a house. They cannot understand what's going on here. The boss instructs the clerk, do not send information to the bank.
Yep. Yep.
Something is going on here. He cannot get a house with 602 an hour. He's not a salary employee.
I remember I was working as well too, so I mean my side was a little more, but
I had to go and tell my boss. I said, "Listen, man, I'm begging you. Just write what you pay me. I'm not asking you
it's
to forge the
inflate the
numbers."
numbers.
Then is when the boy sent a letter back to the bank. Because of cannot be able to compute what you're making and how you're buying house, people started speculating.
See your wife save money.
I'm stealing the wife, save money. You see, the Bible said, the blessings of the Lord, it maketh rich, continuous tense, and it adds no sorrow. God was watching over his word to bring it to pass. He bought our own house. He moved in. Started on the floor. Then we furnished the house later on.
We started on the floor in the new house.
In
The first house.
No, we started on the floor in the rental house.
In the rental house.
Yeah, when we moved to the house that we bought, we didn't have any furniture. The living room was empty. We had beds in the bed, yeah. But on one little table that we brought from the small apartment. But the living room was empty. It was fine. It was fine. It was our home. So, but some people look and they're looking from the outside, and they're trying to calculate your process and what's happening with you from the natural, forgetting that you the person they're assessing or making assumptions of is not just an ordinary person. We are supernatural. Our lives as a couple has been characterized by the miraculous from day one.
That's right.
From the time we got together, from the time we got married, our lives was characterized by the miraculous. Miracles after miracles. Our lives is just miracles. But people don't know that, so they look and they assume that because they had to walk this path, to buy a house in America, you have to have so much payments, you gotta have so much income. All those things are true and correct. But God. There is always a but God in somebody else's life that you don't know of. And even when he came and told me that, his cousin said, because the person who did the work was his cousin, Roger Adams. Shout out to Roger Adams.
Big up Roger Adams. Real estate.
The best. But I'm like, I said you was crazy. I said, no way. I said that. I said, we can't buy a house. We can hardly afford to pay our rent. We have to, and the person we rent from is his cousin as well. You see, God put all the people in your party who work with you. Who was his cousin is his first cousin, Andrew Adams. Big up to Andrew Adams. Andrew would take that check and wait whenever he says to put it in. And every month our rent was late. Every month. So how are you coming from a place of barely being able to pay your rent, and now you coming to tell me to buy a house? I said, Roger, and you are crazy. I said that. I was not on board at first. Like, this is making no sense to me, because I'm a dot your eyes crossed kind of person. It wasn't logical. It wasn't practical. If we can't afford it, if we can afford a house for whatever, but God, He said He was going to take care of us, and so we walked the path. And so you learn that walking with God and walking in faith is always, you don't have to know what's behind that stuff. If God said just go move, just take the step. And that's how God worked it out.
Yeah, so miracles after miracles after miracles characterize our process.
And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because many times these stories will never be heard. They will never be seen or known, because what happens with men and women of faith and faith base and missionaries, they're just not going to tell those stories. You know, they just do what they have to do and then they move on. But I think it's important for us to show people that, hey, the struggle is real.
Oh yes,
You know,
yeah.
it's not a joke. It's not me. It's extreme at times.
Absolutely.
You know, and you guys heard it. Like just coming to this country, like we suffered like many others.
Every immigrant does. Yeah.
And then on top of that, to have the faith to move forward.
Right? And even and if like he was talking about the whole, I don't know why this conversation is going in this direction. But even with the whole housing situation, after we bought the house, we closed the house in August. I remember the last day in August we moved in, August 1998. 6 months after that, he was fired from his job. From the same job that did not want to respond to the bank about how much they were paying him because they couldn't understand how he just got was buying a house. He was fired from his job 6 months after we bought the house. How are we going to pay a mortgage? I'm working where? At a private school, a Christian school. But you know what? Every month, God provided miraculously. He said, people don't know who you are or what you are. And this, like I said, from the time we got together, our lives have been characterized by the miraculous. Every month. 1 month, a couple who my daughters used to babysit their children sent us a check. If you know us, if you know my husband, we don't tell anybody our story. Nobody knows. By this time we had already started. Did we start a church in the house at the time? I think we started. Anyway, but we had already started. We come to that. But we never told anyone what was happening. So he lost his job. Of course, there's not enough income now to pay the mortgage. We had a rental income from the house, but it wasn't enough. This couple that my kids used to babysit, Gail and Yolette used to babysit, Dr. Indra and Daniels.
Yes,
Dr. Indra and Daniels. Shout out to them. They unknowingly sent us a check for how much? The exact money we need to pay the mortgage. Another week, he was in Jamaica Avenue and he saw a guy said, "Oh, pastor, you know, now I'm trying to reach you. I have this thing for you." Puts his hand in his pocket, hands him a check. Exactly, I need to pay the mortgage.
This one is phenomenal. Tell him that you were going to school in the
Yeah, I was coming to that one. So that's another month. At that time, I was a student at Naya College in Manhattan. And I remember this Saturday, it was in the winter again, distinctly, everybody's asleep. I got to get up, walk to the subway. And I was fuming and wondering, why do I have to do this in this cold? I got to walk to the subway, get on the train, get an hour more to Chambers Street to go to school. And I go to school this Saturday morning and we have a break. And during the break, I just happened to sit at the same table with a Caucasian lady who was in the class. And we just chit-chatted, whatever, about the class. The following week, we happened to sit at the same table, not in class, in class we were completely different sides of the classroom, but outside, I don't know how we happened to sit at the same table. So we chit-chatting again the second week and we just talking. And before it was time to go back to class, she says, I have to tell you something. She says, last week when we were talking, the Holy Spirit said to me to write you a check for $1,000. And I said to God, I don't know this woman from Adam. I don't even know her name. I'm writing no check. And she said, but she said to God, if this is really you speaking to me, when we come back to class next week, which was that week, let us sit together again. It gets even worse, even deeper. But let the conversation be about whatever it is. I don't remember what it was. But something to do with family, whatever. And that week, we happened to come together again during the break, sat together just the two of us, chit-chatted. And the conversation was exactly as she asked the Holy Spirit for. That's what we were talking about. She pulled out the check. She said, look, I have the check written here, but I don't have your name. Then is when she asked me for my name, wrote my name, Leonie Hall, on the check. $1,000. Exactly what we needed to pay the mortgage for the other month. Every single month for those 6 months, God sent people, like how we fed Elijah with the ravens. God sent people from all over the place that knew nothing. And we paid that mortgage straight for those 6 months. And he got 6 months of rest because he was working like a slave for the YMCA. He literally slaved and was underpaid. And so those 6 months, God wanted to give him, only that's when he knew how tired he was. And he was resting for those 6 months. And when he finally went back to work, he didn't go looking for a job. A job came looking for him. So God provided for us the miracles we saw. And wasn't easy every month to stretch your faith and believe God. It wasn't a walk in the park. It was not a walk in the park. But every minute at the last moment, in the most inconceivable way, God shows up and paid the mortgage to show that to the devil, you're gonna fire him because you're being vindictive. I'm gonna show him I still take care of him. This is what we are 30 years now since we're in this country. We still in that house. Did we face foreclosure again after that? Yes, we did. But God, again, miracles after miracles after miracles, God provided. So when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of God raises up a standard. And you just got to stand on the word of God. God, you say you will take care of us. You will take care of us. And even though it seems as though the boat going to capsize, we're not throwing anything outside because you are in this boat with us and you're going to take us to the other side. And that's what he did time after time after time after time. We could spend the rest of the month telling the testimonies, but back to your questions.
Wow. This is just a snippet of the untold miracles that continues to happen in these men and women of God. That I remember that you at every like Thanksgiving or Christmas when we would sit at a table, you would always tell us that we didn't come here for a better life. We had a better life. We came to this country as missionaries to start a work and to do ministry. And, that was something that, you always told us, and even some of these stories, some of them are new to me. I'm like, wow, I didn't know my parents were going through this level of sacrifice, for what? Because when my dad left, he left Guyana to come here to start a ministry. And it was in the first home after we came out the bedroom. The first home where the ministry started.
Yes. All right. 1381. Yeah. The ministry started at the rental apartment.
In the rental apartment.
1381 Pinson Street. That's where we started.
So after we came out the room, that first apartment is where you guys decided to start the Glory Light Tabernacle International living room. So we want to talk about that.
Yeah, we started Glory Light Tabernacle International Ministry because it was, it was 5 years I had the opportunity to come to America.
5 years before we came.
Before we came to the United States. But because of my assignment, fulfilling the call of God in Guyana, we came in 1996 because the time came when the assignment.
Not cutting you. Even that was not a miracle story, because let me backtrack if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how most immigrants know how immigration works. You're sponsored by a family. So his father has sponsored all the children, and so the time had come where the married children were able to come. So it was supposed to be, I think it was 5 of them. So when the paperwork came through the embassy for them to come, he refused. He refused to accept the visa. The petition. It's called petition. He did not take the petition. I was a little discouraged. We were discouraged because we were waiting all these years to come to get here. Another thing is true, and he refused to come because at the time we were in the building process of Glory Light Tabernacle, Guyana. He was pastoring then, and we were building the building. Remember, right? And so he said he wasn't coming. So his other siblings came, and 5 years passed. We are still in Ghana. By then, I'd forgotten all about America. I didn't care to come to America. We were fine. We were happy. We were successful doing ministry in Ghana. Came to the point where the building was completed. The building was completed. I remember at the day of the dedication of that building in Ghana, when the building was completed, the prophetic word in that dedication service was, "Your time is up."
Wow.
I was disappointed. I was looking for, because you spend the sacrifice we made to see that building completed debt-free. It was enormous. That's a different story for a different time. And now you're looking forward to working and building this ministry and seeing it grow, and God said your time is up. So now we have to go back to the embassy and say he said he wants to come. He goes to the embassy, the American embassy in Ghana, and they said, "Okay, you had this petition there for 5 years and you refused to pick it up, refused to accept the petition to come to America. In order for you to get this visa for your family to come to America, you have to send us, you have to get your father, who was the petitioner, to send us a picture with him reading a dated news. Back then they had newspapers. People don't know newspapers now, but they had newspapers back then. That's 30 years ago. Reading a dated newspaper.
Prove he's alive.
To prove that he's alive. Because if he's not alive, there is no way you guys leave it. You cannot come. Hey, why that's a miracle? 2 years, a year or two prior to that, his father got sick. A year before that, got sick here in America, had a stroke and almost died. So it wasn't until we were about to pick up the petition we understood fully why God kept him alive. If he had died, we would not have been able to come here. So when he had to take a picture, show that he was alive, send it, and that is how we were able to come 5 years after we were supposed to initially be here. But even that was a miracle that God kept his father alive. But of course, too, the other downside with that too, because they had the spirits have their own home, and they intended to put us in one of the apartments because we have children. But after his father gotten sick, he couldn't work anymore, and so to supplement his income, they had to rent the apartment that they were supposed to give to us.
Yeah.
And so that is why we ended up in their in one of the bedrooms, because he was sick, he couldn't work anymore.
That's right.
He had to rent the apartment above him. There were 2 apartments above him. The one in the middle was supposed to be for us. You had to rent it to pay the mortgage. So miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. So you see us, you have no clue the miracles that punctuate our lives. But by the grace of God, but for the grace of God, but for the mercies of God.
I want to highlight something that you heard. This is the first time I'm hearing this part of the story, by the way. So
we got to tell our stories more.
my father declined.
Yes.
Leaving. Let me put it in terms most immigrants will understand. A third world country.
Yeah.
To come to America.
Yeah.
You know, come on, we know the border crisis, right?
Yeah.
And coming to America is like golden.
Yeah.
He said no. Why? Yeah. Because of ministry. He was building a church in Guyana. It's still there. Glory Light Tabernacle, Guyana. That structure is still there today. And he wanted to finish that work. That is a testament for me, where it was never for him, as he has taught us. It's never about the clothes, the shoes. He used to literally tell us this at the table. We didn't come here for shoes. We didn't come here for a better life. We didn't come here for this kind of stuff. And you're hearing it here firsthand, that he declined, quote unquote, riches and a better life per se, because there was a mandate on his life to do the work of God that so much people are benefiting from today still. And we're going to be doing a lot of collaborations with that same church that's still a part of Glory Light Tabernacle in America.